There's a moment in every college student's life when the acceptance letter arrives, that sharp inhale, that tiny spark of hope. But for a lot of students in the DMV, especially students of color, first-gen students, or students from low-income backgrounds, the next thought isn't, I'm going to college. It's, can I even afford to go? And that question, yeah, it changes everything. This is Bridging the Gap, a podcast investigating how diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships and programs shape higher education in the Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia areas. I'm your host, Rebecca Beavers, and in this episode, we're pulling back the curtain on the promise behind DEI initiatives, where they came from, what they were meant to fix, and why they matter now more than ever. To understand DEI scholarships in the DMV, you have to understand the systems they were designed to counteract. Our region has some of the highest ranked universities in the country, but also some of the widest racial and socioeconomic disparities in college access. For decades, students from historically underrepresented communities have faced barriers that go way beyond grades or motivation. We're talking housing insecurity, generational wealth gaps, school funding disparities, and admissions practices that quietly but consistently favored those already in power. So schools started building something new, programs meant to create opportunities where there weren't any before. But how effective are they? Do they actually change anything? And who benefits most? That's what this series is here to unpack. DC, Maryland, and Virginia have always been at the crossroads of policy, activism, and education. In the 1960s and 70s, right after the Civil Rights Movement, universities in the DMV began creating early versions of what we now call DEI programming. Some were pushed by students who demanded representation. Others were created after federal pressure to desegregate campuses more meaningfully. Then came merit-based aid, need-based aid, bridge programs, mentorship networks, and eventually the DEI scholarship, funding specifically aimed at leveling the playing field for marginalized groups. Fast forward to today, these programs have grown complicated, layered, and sometimes politically controversial. But here's the thing. For many students, those programs weren't abstract policies. They were the difference between attending college and never stepping foot on a campus. We're living in the aftermath of major legal and political shifts, Supreme Court decisions on affirmative action, national debates about DEI, and growing public skepticism about what diversity efforts are for. Some argue that DEI programs create unfair advantages. Others say they're the only thing keeping higher education accessible for students who've been left out for generations. So in this moment of transition, maybe even crisis, it's worth pausing to ask, what is the real impact of DEI scholarships in the DMV? What stories aren't being told? And whose futures are on the line? For every spreadsheet and policy document, there's a person, a student, behind it. A kid who was told college wasn't for people like them. A first-gen student who moved across states with a single suitcase. A black or brown student who walked into classrooms where nobody looked like them, until DEI programs created spaces where they finally felt seen. In the episodes ahead, you'll hear from them directly. But before we get there, we need to understand the architecture holding these stories up. How are DEI scholarships built? Who funds them? And why do different institutions approach equity in completely different ways? That's what we'll explore next. Over the next few episodes, I'll be covering and talking with students from universities across the DMV, DEI officers and administrators, journalists covering the national conversation, and experts tracking the legal and policy shifts reshaping everything we think we know about higher education. Together, we'll break down how DEI scholarships shape access, what outcomes do they actually produce, how schools defend or abandon their diversity commitments, and what it will take to create a truly equitable future for students in our region. DEI isn't just a buzzword. It's not a trend, and it's definitely not something that fits neatly into political talking points. It's a promise, one that universities have made to their students, their communities, and their futures. So the question is, are they living up to it? Join me in episode 2, where we hear directly from the students that are living the scholarship experience every day. This is Rebecca Beavers, and together we are bridging the gap.